Oh, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen. Guys, this is a quick Rangers news update this evening, just bringing you up to date with some of the happenings today. Again, loads of fantastic pictures on the Rangers Twitter account and Rangers website of training today in Germany as the team continue to work hard and prepare for the new season. Great to see all the players out there working hard, really getting stuck in. And not just that, but also going through like a team bonding as well and kind of gelling as a group. Now, it was really interesting on Rangers TV to listen to head of performance Jack Ade or Jack Ady. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his second name. Jack, who used to work for Liverpool, was brought on board by Michael Beale. And listening to Jack Ady, who has previously worked with Rangers, talk about the fitness work and the conditioning work and the strength work that they're doing with the players, it was really encouraging what he was saying. He talked about the fact that there was a real enthusiasm and energy about the place and a real drive to succeed. And it was great how the new players were settling in and getting stuck in just the same as the experienced players on the squad. But it wasn't just that; it was also the fact he talked very much about the fact that some days, including last week as well, when they were at Ockenhowie, they were doing 2 training sessions a day some days and working the players double. And in that afternoon session, they were doing a lot of running, a lot of 3-minute drills, 5-minute drills, a lot of different running drills, all designed to increase the players' aerobic and anaerobic fitness. He said that a lot of the fitness work they were doing with the players was the similar sort of fitness work that they did during the 55 pre-season before the 55th league title. Michael Beale, obviously, very much from the same ethos as Steven Gerrard in terms of working the players and getting their fitness levels up. And one thing that's obviously I think you can say about the 55 season and the following season that Gio kind of benefited from as well was the fitness that Gerrard got into the players. And you can't help but feel the likes of Aiden, AD, or the likes of Beale and the work they've done now is similar to that work that was done back then in terms of fitness. Gio really did fail last year with getting the players fit, which led to injuries, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of late game collapses, a lot of poor starts to games, just not players not looking fit. Michael Beale, I think, is clearly determined to get these players as fit and as raring to go as possible. And it's nice to see that they're sort of going back and revisiting some of the successes they had, obviously, during the 55 season and also during the Scottish Cup win and the Europa League run, which I think a lot of that was down to the fitness that Gerrard had got into the players. So good to hear. Good to hear Jack Ady talk about that. Obviously, head of performance at Rangers, cracking that is, and also the fact that Dr. Mark Waller is now on board again. The fact that he was there during that season and helped keep Kamar Roof fit. I mean, that's a miracle work. They're him themselves, so that's great to see. And I think it's all looking very positive on the fitness side and on the strength and conditioning side, which is something we do need going into this new season. Other news: Robbie Ure, who walked away from Rangers at the end of last season, apparently is currently in Holland with AZ Alkmaar on trial, trying to earn himself a contract out there. Who there was high hopes for at one point at Rangers, chose to leave the club at the end of last season. Part of it was a kind of a mutual agreement, really. And AZ have apparently taken him on trial and offering him the opportunity to try and earn a first team contract out there. So obviously, we wish Robbie all the best and hope that he can get an opportunity with AZ Alkmaar, who are a very big, well respected Dutch team in the Eredivisie. Obviously, still not in the same league as Feyenoord, Ajax, and PSV, but certainly in that next level, but below those three Dutch giants. Um, Another news around the training. Some interesting thoughts coming out of training this week from some of the people who've seen stuff and some of the people who have talked about what's been going on at training. People have likened Sam Lammers, in a way to Brian Laudrup. Obviously, not in the same class as Brian Laudrup. Let's get this clear. Laudrup was a class apart, wasn't he? Absolute superstar for Rangers. But there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. Brian Laudrup came up off a very bad spell in Italy where he really failed to be a success. But then, and Lammers the same, has failed in Italy with Atalanta, with Empoli, and with Sampdoria, and he's coming to Rangers to revive his career very much, in a similar sort of kind of way to Laudrup. There's a lot of sort of similarities. Both big guys, tall guys, both very skillful, very technically good guys, both very good on both feet. One thing that's been noted about Sam Lammers is the fact that he is equally as talented with his left and his right foot. Doesn't seem to have a dominant foot at all, which is very encouraging, but sort of very much keeping in the Dutch tradition of working on both feet and improving skills with both sides. But interesting to see there was similarities there that were being drawn with Brian Laudrup. You know what? If he can be half the player Brian Laudrup was, he's going to be a absolutely superstar. Brian Laudrup was an absolute god, wasn't he? Absolute god of the club, just unbelievable. The fact that we had Brian Laudrup is just mind blowing. Brian Laudrup, one of the greatest Rangers players in my opinion ever. Just sheer talent. Like I said, I hope that Sam Lammers can be even half as good, would be good enough for me, given the talent that Brian had. Also, talk in the papers today about possible 4 players that Rangers are ready to show the exit door to. That being Yanis Hadji, Borna Barisic, Antonio Cholak, and Glenn Kamara. Certainly, Antonio Cholak, Glenn Kamara have been talked of an awful lot. Antonio Cholak, allegedly, there's been a price named for Antonio Cholak. As I said in the video this morning, personally, I'd like to see him stay. I think he gives us a plan B. Kamara, I'm ready to ship him out. Since the 55 season and the Europa League run, he's done very little for the club and has been very poor indeed. Yanis Hadji, I think, if we can get a decent price for him. The problem for Yanis is I think he's going to struggle to get first team football. He's going to struggle to get his fitness back. The end of the season kind of came at the wrong time for Yanis Hadji. He was getting back to full match fitness, and then the end of the season came after that injury. And again, it's going to take him time to work it back up and get back to where he was. And it's a lot of talk, about the fact that an ACL injury, you're talking a whole calendar year to get back to anywhere near where you were, if you actually can. So if Lecce, who were very heavily interested in Hadji, would have come in with a £3 to £5 million bid, I think you could even see Gala come in with a similar sort of offer. They obviously very much want Hadji at the club, so I think there's a good chance of us getting anything between 3 and 5 million for Yanis Hadji. Now, obviously, Borna Barisic is a different matter. He is entering the last year of his contract, and there's talk that there is actually no new deal on the table, or no deal can be agreed. So Rangers are willing to move Borna on for a small fee, which obviously you wouldn't get a full price for him, with the fact that he only has 1 year left on his deal. Even rumours that Rangers are ready to rekindle their interest in former Derby left back Archie Brown, to be an understudy to Ridvan Yilmaz. But obviously, we've got to remember that Adam Devine can play there, Dujon Sterling can play there. Obviously, both of those players very, very talented. And there may even be a situation where we play 3 at the back next season. I think that has been heavily rumoured, especially how many times Michael Beale talked about it last season. But those 4 definitely are the top rumours as those heading out the club in the next couple of weeks. Well, Rangers fans, just a quick update, obviously a full news update in the morning. Let me know what you think of those stories, guys, in the comments below. And I need you to do 2 things for me, as always. Number 1, smash that like. And number 2, remember, always, we are the people.